Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome on into the Swear Word. I'm your host, Brandon Swear, and hey, this is a podcast for the chilihead community, by the chilihead community. Regardless of your spice tolerance, this is the place for you. Man, we have an amazing episode here tonight. We are going to discuss the health benefits that you can get from peppers, how you can use them, incorporate them into your dishes, and we have an amazing guest locked and loaded to help us discuss this topic. So episode 90 starts now. What's going on, Swear Nation? So glad to have everyone here, whether you're tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for being here. Up tonight, we're going to be talking about how you can go from boosting your metabolism to spicing up your favorite dishes with peppers, and we have something for everyone. So plus, I'll share a little bit of surprising ways that you can kind of incorporate these peppers into your daily routine and, maybe some ways that you might not have thought of. Up tonight, we have Sundance joining us to discuss also the health benefits behind these peppers, how he's incorporating them, and really getting a better understanding of how this can fit into your life and into your routine. And up tonight on Hot or Not, we have one salsa on deck from Pura Vida that we'll be diving into and checking out. So look forward to diving into that one, but let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump on over to Hot or Not. All right, hey, welcome on into Hot or Not. Now, tonight's Hot or Not's going to be slightly different than the norm. I have quite a few different products here in front of me to discuss, really highlighting later in the episode the benefits of peppers, how you can utilize them, how they can be incorporated. But tonight, we're going to be diving into this habanero salsa from Pura Vida. Nice container here, nice branding on top. Very nice overall presentation. This is an 8-ounce jar. Let me go ahead and get that opened up. We'll not be doing a official scorecard, if you will, for this one. This is going to be more just quickly enjoying some salsa, letting you know what I think of it, the product, overall smell, the aroma. We'll be doing the same breakdown, but done in a much more casual way. This is, once again, I like to break things down. 5 different categories: heat, aroma, flavor, versatility, burn. Really from there, heat and burn are 2 separate things. Heat is that initial punch. Burn is where it sits, how it sits. Does it linger? Does it intensify? All these other parts go in. But right off the bat, beautiful, absolutely beautiful orange color on this salsa. You see some pepper bits. I'm already salivating just from the look of it and the aroma. The overall breakdown on this, you do see it's a nice fine salsa, like a restaurant style, where it has the bits that are there, but they are very finely chopped, so no big, large chunks if you are against the idea of chunks going on in your salsa. But here we go. Let's get a aroma on that. Absolutely phenomenal. Definitely picking up the onion. A little bit of a smoky note, touch of the vinegar, and definitely the habanero body is coming through on the back end. But cheers. Wow. That is amazing. Very well done. Very well executed here. You're getting a nice, almost an initial sweet note that kind of comes through. And then very, very quickly, a savory nature comes through on this. You're picking up immediately as the savoriness comes in. You're getting a great habanero body the whole way through. Initial heat on this one, not quite as high as I would have thought. You're really able to enjoy the flavor profile, the body on this salsa, and then the heat really comes in. And as it transitions from heat to burn, the burn starts to really be the part where You're left with it really amplifying up from there. You're feeling the natural kind of sting from the habaneros, but not too bad. Not like eating a fresh habanero in that realm, but absolutely beautiful. Nice overall mouth burn, mostly residing on the tongue, and really having you want it to come back for more. So I'm going to dive back in. Phenomenal stuff here from Poor Vita. To read off the ingredients here, I'm going to go ahead and put the lid back on real quick. So, ingredients from Poor Vita habanero onion salsa: roasted tomatoes, sweet onion, jalapeno, poblano, habanero peppers, olive oil, lime juice, garlic, vinegar, sea salt, sugar, red pepper flakes, cilantro, smoked sea salt, potassium sorbate, and vegetable stock. Absolutely amazing. Really, the combination of all these ingredients, but that vegetable stock coming in to round things out, absolutely delivering home that amazing body, that amazing flavor that is just really able to make this a very deep and savory note. Love the incorporation of the red pepper flakes and the cilantro in there. That smoked sea salt is just enough smoke flavor to let you know that like you're getting almost that fire roasted feel and taste in the experience. Absolutely phenomenal stuff there. Kudos, Poor Vita. So let's talk about the versatility on this salsa. I mean, I'm absolutely going to be using this on tacos, burritos, eggs in the morning. Chips and salsa is going to be an absolute no-brainer there. Using this on enchiladas, really any kind of a Mexican dish is going to be phenomenal there. Pairing this with a burger, just some nice spoonful drizzled on the top of a burger patty after it's done being grilled. That is going to make it pop and come to life. I absolutely love this salsa. So kudos there. Poor Vita. This is the habanero onion salsa. I will have the direct links down below for it, as well as the main link to the website, so you can check out the full lineup from Poor Vita. He has some amazing hot sauces that have already been reviewed on this channel, as well as a few that will be dropping here soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump on over to the interview. Sundance, how's it going?
What's up, guys? It's good to see everybody out there. If you're watching, Brandon, how are you? I'm good.
Man, I
I'm
am
tired.
doing good. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for having me, sir.
Well, this is an interesting episode here today. So, if you've already, if you're just now tuning in, we're going to be discussing the health benefits of really peppers in general, but also we're going to touch on some of the different iterations and ways that you can have, your peppers incorporated into whether that be different products or your foods, etc. So, it's a great time to have Sundance on to be able to bounce some ideas off of as well to get a better understanding on maybe some of his favorite dishes or ways to incorporate these peppers and spice up his health and his life. So,
Yeah. Yep, I'll do my best. I haven't had caffeine this morning, so we're
oh,
going to try.
no worries, no worries there. Okay. Well, ultimately, let's I guess we'll just kind of high level touch on some of the nutritional profiles that you can expect from peppers. Oftentimes
Mhm.
people think of getting their vitamin C. What's the first thing they think of, right?
Yeah. Oh,
It's
oranges all day.
yeah, oranges. I mean, that's what everyone kind of goes for, and really, there's actually a higher amount of vitamin C, and there's other vitamins that are within these peppers as well. But vitamin C is what we'll just talk about briefly right now.
Yeah.
Um, but like you're able to get actually more of that out of peppers, and you don't have to eat these scalding hot peppers in order to
No.
be able to benefit from that. So, yeah, I mean, what are some other like common things that you might hear, whenever you're discussing ultimately peppers as a whole? I mean, some of the faux pas are that it's going to hurt you, it's going to completely destroy your health.
Yeah,
Um, Now, moderation, obviously, if
always key.
excess of anything is too much, is too bad, anyways. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, ultimately, you have vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E,
Hmm.
potassium, fiber. They're very nutrient dense and just very calorically low. And I may be a little bit biased here, but they're always packed with a great flavor. So,
Hmm.
what are your thoughts on that?
It's funny you touched on like the misunderstandings people will have of peppers. There are so many health benefits to it. There's granted there's a little bit conflicting research, but there's even some cases that suggest that peppers capsaicin will help reduce your blood pressure. Some conflict with that, but they're starting to see better health benefits to, for example, capsaicin when it comes to pain and inflammation. That helps with that. Uh, Recently, because of my own health issues, everybody has had, and I don't mind, they've had an opinion about what I should do for my health. And one of the things they've stressed is how much spicy that I eat. And no, that's not really a problem. Yes,
Yep.
all the aftermath from a challenge or something is a problem, those kind of unhealthy things. But when you're doing something that releases endorphins, has in it the nutrient dense things like the vitamin C that you mentioned, eating spicy is actually healthy, and especially at like moderate low doses. For example, they've done research that suggests that capsaicin fights against stomach cancer properties,
Yep.
and nice clear moderation, stuff like that. And so there's not really as much harm that is associated. It just looks extreme.
Yep.
And the other thing is, I think it also, what peppers can do, hot sauces, anything related to that field, it improves the quality of life for a lot of people,
Yep.
which has tremendous that mental health, right? That affects your body. The way you think is also the way you feel. And so when you're involved in something and doing these things where you are growing your own peppers, making your own sauces, participating in community, all of that kind of thing has an overall net positive benefit to those people that participate in it versus, you know, I don't like the idea of being lectured about my spicy intake when people eat and drink so much other horrible stuff that doesn't get nearly the 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 flack that it should, or at least maybe they themselves probably have some horrible addiction to some terrible like aspartame thing that they're drinking all the time. It's like you can't lecture me on the health benefits of spicy or not when you are this unhealthy yourself. I don't know.
Yep.
That was a rant.
Yeah, no, no. I mean, spot on there. A few things that I'll definitely touch on, but yeah, it's one of those things. I guess to kind of work backwards real quick. One of those things that you mentioned is really the idea that there's so many things out there that people encounter and ingest in a common basis. They're either not reading the labels, they don't care, or whatever. It's something that they're accustomed to, and they just keep doing it.
Oh
That
yeah.
are way worse for their health in a big scheme of things. And
Oh yeah. Oh
realistically, the health benefits from capsaicin, as you mentioned, are just tremendous.
yeah, yeah. There's one of kind of my favorite two little statistic research points are yeah, the cancer causing properties in like French fries, and one of my all time favorites is like there's suggestions that there's carcinogens that lead to cancer from laundry detergent.
Yep.
So all these people who are so hyper clean and wanting to wash their clothes all the time, it's like have fun with your cancer maybe, but you're lecturing me about hot sauce. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
there's so much that's out there that we ingest through our skin. The For the longest time, there were products like certain baby powders or whatever that they discovered cause a lot of problems when you apply them constantly, and that's what they were doing. But there's nothing that you can find in the pepper realm. Minus, I saw a study that does suggest super high quantities of capsaicin intake might exacerbate, make worse stomach cancer properties, but who's doing that much, you know?
Yeah.
Even people in the chili community, again, people think that I must eat hot sauce for every meal. I don't. They think whatever it is I'm doing, I don't nearly as much as you would think. This is just happens to be a passion of mine where I have a YouTube channel and this is all you see. But we know people outside in the real world, in life, are doing things that are so much unhealthy. But eh, you know,
Yeah.
and the other thing is, I wish people could, and this is something that I've learned, like doing pod competitions, because I've done a couple, two or three, is touching back on the flavors and kind of things. There's so many different actual, as much as I don't like pod tastes sometimes, I can appreciate them objectively.
Yep.
Like, I think there was a Starburst pod, something or other I did at a competition. I kind of enjoyed that. My favorite pod is a chocolate primatali. It tastes like nothing. It's just super delicious, super hot. But it's those kind of things, like, because when I think about eating my vegetables, and even though like peppers are a fruit, or eating fruits because I don't like fruit, there are pods and things out there that are delicious that could, for some people, if you wanted to have your fruit intake but you didn't like fruit and its texture, try peppers. They're
Yep.
different. They come across like a vegetable, I guess, but there's such a variety and there's so much out there to try and to start incorporating into your meals. I know, like, I'll see, like, the way Alexandria, for example, and Michael from Never Better Club, they're big on their ramen Mondays. They'll put all kinds of pepper whatever's in their dishes and everything. So that's really cool to see. And I
Yep.
think actually what I would like to see more of is more recipes from others about ways you could incorporate super hots, um, to a more official degree, not an official degree, but people like, well, this is how we add cherries to this, blah blah blah, for this recipe. What
Yep.
about peppers? We need like a chili head cookbook. That's what we need.
Yep. No, I completely agree, and I definitely want to touch on some fun ways that even if you're not used to eating, spicy food in general, how someone that can go from that level to really incorporating in just a little bit of capsaicin into what they're already doing and not burn themselves up, but actually amplify
Hmm.
and enjoy what's going on. So
Oh yeah.
definitely want to jump into that as well.
Hmm.
Really, I guess to touch again on the health benefits for everyone that's watching, listening, and they're trying to really wrap their head around all this, because I know this is definitely going to be quite a bit of a conversation here. Definitely, if this is all new information to you. But really being able to boost your metabolism and add to your weight loss journey is huge from this. I mean, there's plenty of known studies that do attribute a boosting to your to your metabolism to really be able to help. And of
Hmm.
course, if you're eating stuff that is kind of teetering on that edge of being a little bit too spicy for you, I would always say, first and foremost, incorporate little by little to find out where
Hmm.
that tipping point is for you, because you can never take back out afterwards. But
Yeah.
um, that will also curb the appetite a little bit as well, if you're maybe
Yep.
one of those that just like to eat until you feel like you're about to pop. So you
Yeah.
can kind of reduce that down. It also, as you mentioned, reduces on inflammation and is helps with pain relief.
Hmm.
Not only are there products like these that you're ingesting, but they actually make capsaicin rubs, creams, and stuff for aches, pains, inflammation on the body to be able to help it. And man, I got to say, those absolutely are amazing. I've used quite a few.
Yeah.
And really, that's kind of my preferred method. But it also helps with supporting heart health by improving the circulation and
Mhm.
helps reduce bad cholesterol. So, like, there's been some studies that have actually shown that the improvements of your circulation and freeing up that bad cholesterol just from eating peppers. And you don't, once again, have to eat those super hots. You can also
Mhm.
enjoy, whether that be bell peppers, etc., that have a
Yeah.
either lower or no heat. There's plenty of antioxidants within these peppers, and
Hmm.
they're super rich in those. So they help you fight with like the free radicals. They help you with issues of lowering your chance of like chronic diseases, even, and help promote healthy skin ultimately through this as well. It builds up your gut health, as you're saying, in moderation. Main key word there, in moderation.
Yep.
Spicy foods can help that gut health just by encouraging a healthy digestion and really stimulating the stomach and, stomach acid production overall. Something that often a lot of people just don't understand or think of
Yeah.
is really, as these peppers hit. Now, us as chili heads and those that are watching that are heat seekers, and you're always trying to find what that next thing is for you to really kind of get that endorphin release. We understand that, but for
Mm.
the average person that doesn't quite understand that, you can get a nice endorphin release from this, which also ends up boosting your natural mood, and it helps you kind of get that almost that effect of a runner's high, if you will.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
Question about, because I've never used any like topical capsaicin um, ointments or lotions or anything like that. You have.
Yep.
What is the like the sensation of it? What have you used it for? What has been some of like how long does it last? What does it smell like? That kind of thing.
Yeah. So I guess to kind of tie back to something that most people might understand or know, have you used Tiger Balm before? Okay. It's kind of like icy hot, but a little bit more of an extreme version of it, right?
Okay.
Tiger Balm is, and honestly, I like Tiger Balm over icy hot if I was to go between those routes. But
Right.
what it does is it ends up acting initially as so you're applying it. It's nice, a cooling effect, but then it starts to stimulate and kind of burn the skin just a little bit, like a slight tingle,
Right.
right? Uh, I'm sure you're familiar, but to try to figure out a way to explain this for those that are watching that may not have experience with this. You're chopping up peppers, you get some on your fingers, or you get
Right.
some on your arm or whatever. You'll end up feeling that kind of tightening almost effect of the skin, and then a nice warming effect, and then it starts to give a little bit of a heating up, burning sensation, if you will. Very similar to Tiger Balm, the way that goes. So Tiger Balm is going on very nice ice cool at first, and then it just ramps up in heat. And that heat is what's having the muscles relax. It's reducing the inflammation, because it's having your body more or less focus the energy on what's going on your skin. So then it's
Right.
relaxing the muscles down low.
Hmm.
With this being said, I wouldn't want to put any of these, whether that be capsaicin or the other pain relief creams. I wouldn't want that on my eyes or lips or
Yeah.
anything of that nature. But, all that to say, with capsaicin, just like we're well aware, don't get this around your eyes. Try to keep it away from sensitive
There.
areas. I have become victim of that before, and it is not pleasant.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So be careful when you go to the bathroom. Yeah.
In either this might be TMI, but we're all adults here.
Yep.
I'll keep it kosher. A wet rag of milk or a cup of milk, if you have any issues, will work wonders for you if anything goes wrong down south. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. That's good to know. Actually,
It's,
I have
from
never thought of that.
experience, but yeah, it will help. Originally, the milk soaked rag is an idea that I got from Brad Warden. I can't remember. Maybe it was cameraman who said to do that because he got some in his eye. I think maybe from Trouble Bubble. And I actually remember, this will be a funny little side story. When I first like tried like extreme spicy stuff. Pardon the side quest here,
Oh, no
but
worries.
in high school. In high school, my friend brought in a bottle of Dave's Insanity sauce as kind of like, it's just that's what high schoolers get into.
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
try to drink, mess with each other. I didn't taste any of it, but I did handle the bottle, which had all the oils on it. And I wasn't thinking anything of it. And I somehow touched my eyes. And that went about as well as you think it did.
Yep.
And so I take off run, like I'm like, how do I stop this? And they tell me like milk. So I take off. This is still breakfast before school starts. So I run to the lunch line and I'm waiting in lunch line with my free lunch ticket with a paper tray and a carton of milk. Just come on, check me out. Like, because you got to hand a little ticket to get punched.
Yep.
And then I take it and I run back to the little booth and I just set this paper tray out and dump this milk. And it's like, it hurts so bad. It hurts so much. But
Oh
yeah,
man.
anything where you can get milk into those areas will help a lot. Don't just use water. That's I don't know why people here's another side thing, because the Roanoke Police Department, or whoever it was, when the trouble bubble controversy happened here a while back, these people told these children to rinse their mouth out with water.
Yeah.
No,
Nope.
no, don't
Nope.
do that. And these cops have been like pepper spray trained. I guarantee you they weren't using water, but they're here telling you should just go rinse your mouth out. No, gotta use some milk, yo.
Yep.
That's how you soothe the burn.
Yep.
Now, and there was one other thing. Oh, yeah. So this lotion that you're talking about, it's not like when you get tincture on your skin, is it?
No,
It's
no,
not
it's not.
that
It's
bad.
not that intense.
Thank
I
good.
have had
Yeah.
tin cans before,
Yeah.
and that is not pleasant.
No.
That was a probably about a week long issue having tin cans. That was
Oh wow.
bad.
Like how bad? What did you do?
So it was my first attempt at making tink, and I was getting ready to pull some out. The filter that I had to run everything through ended up breaking. So then I started going MacGyver style, using coffee filters, like the big
Yeah.
old basket filters, and taking some and pouring it in there. And then it got to the point where like it kept falling. I'd grab it and going on and on. Next thing you know, my
Right.
hand is now turning a dark brown on the areas where the tink had like soaked in, because it was a smoke. It was a smoke tink, and
Right.
so yeah. And then I was like, okay, well, I can't just. I was like, I know there's still some tink inside this POW. I need to like find a way to press and squeeze it. So what do? I take a few more filters, wrap it around like a giant baseball, put some rubber bands around it, and just try to squeeze it with my hands. And as I'm pressing with my hands, it's coming out, but it's also just leaching into my hands at that point. And I was like, all right, I'm done with this. I'm done with the tink. Like, I'd already I set aside the stuff that I'd already safely drained. And then I
Yeah.
was like, this other stuff is like, it is what it is. And so I just kind of like squeezed it, put it to the side, and that's what I was sampling out of was that
Right.
other one. But yeah, an atrocious idea, and not to mention, I was like after the fact of like pressing it, I was like, well, I might as well get into this giant jar. So it was a 3 liter jar, so it had a
Right.
wide mouth, so I could reach my hand in there and like clean it all out. And
Yeah.
so I had tink up my arm all the way down to my hands, but my hands were just
Oh.
absolutely roasted.
Ooh.
So
Ooh.
yeah,
And,
no,
and that always sucks because like sometimes no amount of like washing with soap will make it go away.
yep, yep,
I've noticed that a few times. It's like it doesn't matter how like certain even like degreaser soap that I use for like when I'm working on my truck, or even
yep,
like that stuff that you scrub on ducks that nobody owns from the Dawn commercials.
yep.
It doesn't work, but I've discovered that milk does help. Um, so that yeah, as long as the lotion that you're suggesting doesn't burn nearly that much, but it's like a nice tingle,
Yeah,
and that'll
no,
help.
it's much more tame. Like 90% of the time, it uses only, you know, cayenne peppers. So it's not like it's a super hot of any nature.
There you
It's a
go.
very small amount that's in there, but it is enough to be noticeable and really help take away that issue. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and to tie back to your lunch story, I might as well go ahead and chime this one in
yeah,
while we're on a little bit of a tangent here.
yeah.
Um, yeah, going back to my high school as well, thinking through, there was, you know, as high school boys do, you're always, you know, trying to entice and cause people to do things that you know that otherwise is going to be bad for them. And someone was like, "Hey, $5 to the first person that puts Tabasco in their eye, like eye drops." And I was like, dude, done. I had forgot my lunch that day. I was like, I'm gonna go get something. I open my eye, take that bottle, drop it in there, and then they're like, all right, now you gotta blink 5 times. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. So I just kept blinking as much as I could, but the burning was not allowing me to get a full open on my eye. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that one wasn't
Awful.
as bad. I mean, it's just Tabasco. It does come out pretty quick.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
that was you said $5. What was that adjusted for inflation?
yeah, yeah. No telling now. That was what 2005 at the time. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So hold on. What's $5 adjusted? I'm gonna search this. This is
All
gonna be
right.
great. Because $5 to a kid back 20 years ago was kind of a lot. You could get something decent for that,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh yeah.
People don't know, like, if there's any youngins out there and you're watching back in like the early 2000s, $5 could stretch.
Yeah.
Now it's like $20 is like a dollar.
Yeah. 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 No kidding. I mean, I do remember I got my plate lunch, but plate lunch was only I believe 275. So, and then I was able to get a soda to go back to class, and yeah, it wasn't bad. Uh, the pain was only temporary, but everyone remembered the shenanigans that went on that day. So
Yeah. So apparently, $5 in 2005 adjusted for inflation is like 8.13 today. So we're
okay,
talking nearly $10 for that little stunt.
yeah,
That was actually that's fair. That is a fair price
yep, yeah.
for that little stunt.
It ended up working in my favor, so
There you go.
wasn't too upset with it. But okay, okay. Well, you had mentioned on this as well, and I had alluded to this at the very beginning, but really kind of I guess this next part will break down really the culinary aspect. We'll call it the
Mhm.
culinary superhero, if you will.
Yeah.
So, like how we can incorporate whether that be peppers, hot sauce, powders, tinctures, spicy jellies, spicy jams,
Mhm.
hot salsa, etc. Like any which ways, right? So hot sauce isn't just for your wings. There's plenty of creative ways that we can use it. I talk about it pretty regularly whenever doing the hot or not segment. But add this to help kick up some stews, some sauce.
Yeah.
You can even incorporate this in sauces. And I guess I'll take a little brief tangent here on that note. So, like, you can utilize these hot sauces or dry rubs or powders to really amp up. Let's say you're big into ranch dressing, right?
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, ranch is never going to come out with a ranch dressing that's like screaming hot or got
No.
any kind of decent heat. So, what do you do with your favorite sauce or favorite product that doesn't doesn't have a hot alternative and you want to add some flavor to it? Well, you just crack open that lid, clear a little bit of space. You can either start with whether you want to go with hot sauce or you want to go with a powder and just do a little bit at a time, give it a good shake, make it incorporated, get a taste. If that's good enough
Yep.
for you, then leave it. If not, keep adding, keep going.
Mhm.
Um, Great way to bring new life to stuff that you already love and know.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah. Tincture is another one that's really good too. I've kind of had to spice up a few things that I've had when things, for example, when I think it was Slim Chickens, they did some kind of new spicy ghost pepper whatever heat,
oh yeah,
and I was hoping for something. It tasted good, but there was no heat, and I happened to have some of Casually Roasting's Patient Zero tincture on me at work. By the way, chili heads, bring tincture to work. You're gonna need it. Trust me on this. If you haven't thought about it already, do it. It'll save you so much. So I had this tincture, it was all over this nice little salad, spiced it right up. That is the tincture is the unsung hero. I know, like, for a lot of us, we'll use it for like mouth tolerance building, but certain ones, flavor wise, are developed for just better tasting, better heat in your foods. I know
absolutely.
late I've gotten some tinctures from Late for Work that flavor wise he geared specifically for, more smoky flavor to add to this, more something or else to add to that, right? And so even just down to the flavored tinctures will be lifesavers to spice up whatever it is that you're doing. Powders too. Hot sauce is easy. I used hot sauce on a salad last night because I'm trying to eat healthier. But I also picked up this new hot sauce. I think it was like Ghost Melinda's Ghost Pepper Ranch, or I forgot what I used, but something like that. Because I don't have ranch,
Yep.
so I used that, and it was great. And I threw in I threw in some Bucky's spicy pickled eggs,
Oh,
because I
nice.
see I see everybody add like eggs to their salad, so I'm like, okay, let's try to look healthy here, I guess. So I added these spicy pickled eggs, and I'm using hot sauce on this salad because I'm trying to eat healthier and lower my blood pressure. Pardon me. It's so funny. Like the length chili had like to adjust for eating healthier with lower blood pressure. It's like, well, we don't really eat a whole lot of fatty ranch, so let's try this low in calorie hot sauce, and then we'll use spicy pickled eggs. And it's funny to me. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, no, no. I mean, makes perfect sense. You got to do what you got to do, and I've done some pretty interesting creations and collaborations over the years. Like ultimately, I guess to really highlight the overarching part of this right here is you're only limited by your own creativity and your imagination as far as what and how you're going to incorporate. Whether that be peppers, spices, you know, just any of these products. There's so many that you can run
Yeah.
down. Spicing up your morning eggs, as you mentioned with eggs. I also like to do. I know that you mentioned Never Better Club loves to do their spicy ramen.
Hmm.
Whenever I make even the most basic at home kit of ramen, I like to because we typically have hard boiled eggs on hand at all time. I'll crack some of those, give them a nice little rub, and then I'll roll it
Hmm.
in, whatever kind of pepper powder or
Yeah.
spice blend that I want, and I get it nice and encoded, and then I'll just take it in there and then get a nice cut because I always like to keep the eggs just ever so slightly runny on the inside of the yolk. But
Hmm.
absolutely great way to amp up that, as well as avocado toast. You can use this for marinating meats, adding it to your vegetables. I mean, ultimately, the hot sauce or spicy product that you're using, it
Hmm.
has the same capsaicin benefits as the fresh peppers itself, but you're able to
Yeah.
get it in a more convenient, ready to use form. It's a
Yeah.
great way to add flavor without adding salt or anything else that you're trying to potentially avoid.
Hmm.
Obviously, some hot sauces out there have more salt content than others. So if that is
Yeah.
something that you're trying to scale back, being cognizant of that is important. But if you're going to a straight pepper powder, you're not really having to worry about that because you're getting
No.
all the peppers.
No.
So
And I don't I guess pepper powder keeps, I guess, for a while, and you can find that online. It just sucks that pod season is only like so long in the year. So here we are talking about all these peppers. Like we gotta wait months before we can get some pods in.
yeah,
Unless somebody's like got some in-home grown kind of thing going on that I don't know about. Because I'm still kind of getting used to pods. I've fallen in love with the chocolate primatali. I've done like Carolina Reapers, and I no thank you anymore. But I do look forward to getting my hands on some like chocolate primatalis when they come in,
yep.
because those are a pod that I can enjoy. It just sucks that we have to wait so long, but powder, I guess. I mean, does that have really an expiration date?
So it does start to, depending on how long you have it and how you have it stored. Really, the main key there is how you have it stored.
Hmm.
But if you have something that's been opened, used, you kind of leave it there. It's not in the greatest area. It's maybe a little bit humid, uh, whatever. All these other factors can kind of come into play. But ultimately, what could potentially happen is it starts to lose some of its flavor. The
Right.
heat might die back just a little bit, but realistically, you're really going to notice more a color of the powder would alter the clump, whether it clumps or not.
Right.
Oftentimes, tip though for anyone that does have pepper powder that started to clump, throw that sucker in the freezer for a little bit, bust it back out, shake it.
Oh,
It'll break right back into small granulars 90% of the time. Um,
nice.
so there's that, but yeah, really, it's a color, it's a flavor change most of the times. So
Hmm.
as long as it's not like wide open in a very humid place, you're going to be pretty good.
Right. Oh,
Um,
okay. Heck yeah. Well,
yeah,
yeah. Stock up on your POW then. That's actually what, because you mentioned like it'll lose its potency for heat. This is something I know for tincture for you guys. Like if it sits long enough, it starts evaporating and it gets a little bit more thicker and it gets hotter and worse, and that's better for you.
yep,
like I've got some Hellhammer here that has been it's been evaporating a little bit. I've been slacking on my tincture, but I'm scared of it now because it's as much of it has evaporated. Like I
Yep.
don't even want to know. Like I'm tempted to like try it on stream just to see because my tolerance has been in the toilet since I've not been going as crazy with so for because I do spicy and I do challenges. One thing, and this is kind of like a side dietary kind of thing, like, and I've heard from other people when you're a challenge head like I am, you'll do with your prep like a whole lot of carbs or whatever. So you're eating a whole bunch of like really bad food that's for you. So the irony is if there's anything to gain from being unhealthy about doing the spicy challenges stuff, it's not got anything to do with the challenge itself. It's everything to do with your diet and prep and what you're doing to mitigate against cap cramps,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So
No.
that's another ironic thing. Like people will have their criticisms and it's fair to have that criticism and curiosity and concern. But for the people who do this, we know it's not, this is terrifying. Oh man.
Absolutely
Oh,
brave. I can't even imagine how
ah,
amplified Hellhammer Evaporated is. I say that, but I also have some downstairs that I probably should crack into that still has a little bit in there, but it has
right.
also been evaporating. I got a few that have become pretty sludgy, to say the
Oh,
least, and so I'll be breaking into those here soon. I'm actually wanting to try an experiment on one, so hold for that one as I kind of iron that all out. The premise is um, obviously trying it while it's sludged, and then the idea is can you reinvigorate that without really reducing the heat or altering the flavor too much. So I will be
yep.
attempting that. But I guess on the note as well, just really quick talking about the
Whew.
overall benefits and use cases. Um, not all sauces are. If you're really on a strict health diet, I'll
Mhm.
frame it as that. If you're on a strict health diet, make sure you're looking at the ingredients. Ideally, if you're trying to keep it very minimal, very very clean, look for just very limited ingredients and make sure
Yep.
that you kind of avoid some of those that are maybe overloaded with sugars or preservatives if health is that main focus for you.
Yep.
um, cooking with hot sauce also is phenomenal. I do that often. You can mix it into things like dips, homemade hummus,
Yep.
guacamole. You can use this as a secret ingredient as well for like baked dishes, spicing up some macaroni and cheese. Not quite the
Mhm.
healthiest thing there, but like you get an idea of what you could potentially do, working this into stews, working this into soups, working it
Yep.
into like just the nobody likes it. Well, I say nobody. There's somebody out there that does. It's not commonly liked to have an absolutely dry sandwich. So to be able to
Yeah.
incorporate, some kind of heat in that is definitely going to be ideal as well to be able to kind of enjoy what's going on. You can also create like your own blends of different products with the hot sauce or any
Yep.
other spice products, but like spicing up some honey, spicing up some mustard, some yogurt, etc. You know, that really
Yeah.
that area is kind of endless. Like I said, it's limited only by your own creativity,
Yep.
and you don't really have to worry about hot sauce as for powder, as we discussed for a shelf stable standpoint. I mean, oftentimes that could be years that it lasts. Make sure you're kind of keeping an eye on what the expiration date is on there. And obviously, making sure that you're storing it properly. If it's one that needs to be in the fridge, keep it in the fridge. If it doesn't,
Yep.
and you're fine with that being out, then so be it. Just make sure you're checking the bottle, make sure it doesn't look funky or you left the cap off or something
Yep.
goes awry.
Yep. One thing I noticed in when you going back to the hot sauces that are fewer ingredients, you can't go wrong with that. They tend
Yep.
to taste more straight like whatever the peppers that are used in them. Just and this is what I've noticed on my channel when I do my hot sauce reviews. My mouth is all right. Is that the more straight pod sauces? that don't have a whole lot of flavor going on for them, but the peppers, not the biggest fan of when I'm just eating them off the spoon. But I've noticed when I put them on something, it enhances the flavor of the dish, and I
Hmm.
really like the sauce. Memento Mori from John's was one that I noticed. Like I could, when I did the review, I could appreciate whatever it was, but I didn't like the sauce. I was almost going to throw it out because I just knew wasn't going to eat it. But then I threw it on some like chicken later, and I'm like, this stuff is awesome,
Yeah.
and it quickly became one of my more favorite sauces. And so the same with any kind of like straight pod sauces, they may not taste like that wild and crazy and different and flavorful off the bat, but I guarantee you throw on whatever you're eating, you're
Yeah. Well, and
yeah.
I guess to tie into that as well, you know, you had mentioned very pod forward hot sauces, kind of having that characteristic of really lending itself well to working with others. The same could be said for a lot of these pepper powders. You're really with pepper powders. You could work in. Let's say you're just starting out. You could work in with stuff like smoked paprika, cayenne, so on and so forth, and kind of
Yeah.
build up from there. Um, but really being able to add that, it provides you this incredible, you know, versatility. It adds flavor, it adds the heat, and it can also, depending on how much you're using, change the overall color of your dishes.
Yeah.
But you know, just like fresh peppers and hot sauce, the pepper powder itself are rich in the capsaicin, the antioxidants, and it's a much more concentrated way. So you can really be able to enjoy the benefits of the peppers without
Hmm.
having to like eat a whole bunch of hot sauce or without having to eat a whole bunch of pods itself, because a
Yeah.
lot of people don't understand the amount of peppers that have to go in fresh peppers in order to be able to get, you know, even a container like this of pepper powder is
Yeah.
far greater than you would imagine.
Yeah.
So um, yeah, really being able to incorporate that in cooking. You know, how does this, you know, I guess ultimately, like you might be thinking, like, how does this work? How would I work this in? You know, sprinkling it on some roasted vegetables. I
Hmm.
know something that's often mentioned here, popcorn. So, you know, sprinkling that in as popcorn, kind of giving a good
Yep.
shake. Adding it to dry rubs if you're into barbecuing, or you're looking for some like vegetarian alternatives to really kind of bring some flavor to the tofu or whatever you might
Yep.
be using. Blending it up in salad dressings or in dips. I really like to work in not only hot sauce, I like to put pepper powder, pepper flakes, and
Yep.
really incorporate that in whenever I make my own salad dressings at home. Um,
Hmm.
and so, absolutely phenomenal. This is also something that if you were wanting to get into, let's say that there's a pepper that you really love, um, you know, you can do this at home. You could get that pepper, you know, dry out your favorite pepper, grind them up, store them in an airtight container for the longest freshness, tastier, you know, and really
Yeah.
kind of be able to customize and change it up from there and have some fun with it. So,
I have one question because I haven't done this yet. I haven't cooked with like super hot peppers. I don't know if you have, but
yep,
for example, like when you wash out like a hot sauce bottle and all those whatever those fumes are that get you to coughing and going crazy,
yep.
does that happen if you like cook super hots in a skillet, for example, if you're making like a stir fry or something like is
Oh
that
yeah. Oh yeah. You're gonna
doesn't
tear
smoke
gas
you
out the
out?
house.
Oh,
Yep.
so
I
maybe people at home have a gas mask when you decide to do some stir fry with some super hots.
Yeah, yeah. You know, or you can do which I've kind of been forced to use more so willingly, I should say, willingly forced to cook it outside. I have one like
Mm.
my grill has the side burner, and I'll just typically
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that. Or if I'm grilling, I have taken actually this Texas creeper from Spicy Calbron. Man, this
Ooh.
stuff right here is absolutely amazing. This is something that he runs periodically. It is a massive mixture of a whole bunch of super hots.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm gonna rattle off the list here. So Carolina Reaper, Trinidad Moruga Scorpion, Seven Pot Dougala, Ghost Pepper, Peri Peri Pepper, Cayenne Pepper, and then paprika, uh, and yeah. So I mean, ultimately, a very nice blend there. And
Yeah.
there's other spices in there, but just that was just highlighting the peppers. This is an
Right.
overall great, seasoning for meats, for vegetables. Absolutely love using that. But I took that stuff and heavily, thickly coated a steak, so much so
Mm.
that you couldn't even see the steak under there, and then threw that on the grill. And I'm glad I was grilling outside with that because, man, the
Oh
fumes
yeah.
kicking off were insane.
Nice, nice. I have it made me think. I have done some baking with. So I wanted to make like some super hot pretzels because I love pretzels, and
Hmm.
so you just find it's a super easy like recipe. Doing spicy pretzels, super easy recipe. It's like whatever powder you're using, and then like oil, and you bake it and turn it. Like it's super easy. But I remember using like a crazy like ghost scorpion powders and all of that. It's fun to try to find the flavor that works with it really well, but when you get something that works and it got a nice burn, don't be afraid to do anything that you think is like a normal one because it's like a when they talk spicy pretzels, they're thinking like zesty ranch kind of whatever online. Well, you can take that same recipe, just incorporate super hot powders, and there you go.
Yep.
And it's super easy, super fun. I've been try to tinker with challenge versions of it. Just haven't managed to get the flavor right, but you can get nice and lit up. So some thinking outside the box ideas for anybody at home. If you've got your powders or whatever, and you say, if you like a particular style snack, do that, find the recipe for it, and just add powder and see if it works.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like to oh man. So very unfortunate thing. I think we actually might have talked about this one on the last time you were on the show.
Yeah.
But with the whole Pocky thing being done, whatever,
Mhm.
there was some. I didn't like the flavor at all of the actual one chip, but they did have some other great flavors, and this kind of ties into what you were saying there as well.
Yeah.
Um, if you find a product that you like in particular, they had like I think it's a
Oh,
tropical jalapeno or something or
oh,
habanero.
no, did you ever have their haunted ghost chips in the black and white bag?
Oh yeah, those are great too.
Okay, okay. Pocky, if you were listening, if you're watching this, I know you discontinued them. I don't care. Bring them back. Why do you hate money? Bring back the haunted ghost pepper chips. I'm begging you. I You have screwed up royally. Those things were amazing. Why would you waste time on chili limon chips or whatever it is that you're selling that some people like? That's fine. Bring back the haunted ghost peppers for me. For
Yep.
me. Do it for me. Do it for the chili heads around the world. You guys dropped the ball, man. Drop the ball.
Yep.
That's my
No.
rant.
Hey, absolutely. I loved those ghost pepper chips. I would
Mhm.
always still do the same method that I was alluding to, which is taking that, opening it up, because like while they were great, they had great flavor, great heat.
Mhm.
Definitely for anything you could buy off the shelf, it was like
Yeah.
substantially higher than most. But I would still
Yeah.
grab pepper powder and I would just open up the bag, sprinkle
Mhm.
in as much as I felt like, ripping,
Yeah.
folding the top and then just shaking it up, getting it nice and incorporated.
Yeah.
So you can still do that and you can still enjoy this, and benefit from the health aspect that you are getting in
Mhm.
through peppers itself. Now,
Yep.
um, I don't know if this is so I've ate spicy food in general to some capacity. My first encounter was when I was 6, and with a jalapeno, and I ate it and I loved it and it burned up, but I kept going back,
Yeah.
right? And so over the years, I've always kind of been one of those rare anomalies that I'm not your person that's typically sick. I don't know
Yeah.
if that has anything to do with this, but I always like to attribute that I think that that is probably why, because of
Yeah.
all the nutrients that do come through, vitamins and all the other stuff that you're getting from
Oh
this,
yeah.
and helping boost your natural immunity.
Yeah.
So promote. I mean, really, it all comes back to a lot of illnesses and things that you have do come
Mhm.
down to what's going on in your gut.
Yeah.
And with peppers building up that healthy gut bio and
Mhm.
helping produce that stomach acid as well, it ultimately does end up benefiting in that way. So don't be
Yeah.
too afraid of that. I mean, we spoke about tinctures. There's plenty of tinctures out there.
Mhm.
You know, you can make yourself some, you can find some, you can find others that make them.
Yeah.
Get plugged in that way. But like don't skimp out on, like, this is something that my wife absolutely loves. We found this at Zest Fest last year. It's called Livin' Spicy, spicy jalapeno. It's like a premix, non-alcoholic premix that you can add to like
Mm.
lemonades. You can add to
Oh, nice.
margaritas. The idea was like to make a spicy margarita, right, with this.
Right.
And um, the owner of this, she was actually telling my wife that she'll bring a bottle like that in her purse, and if they go out for Mexican food and order margaritas, she just splashes a little bit in there and stirs it up. So
Yeah, yeah. That actually reminds me. I don't know. I haven't had anybody else who has done it, but Inked Gardener, when they sell their tinctures on Etsy, it's almost it's like a honey base. It's not like a alcohol based. So it's like this honey that you can whatever peppers are in it and whatever flavorings they do, super hot, drizzle that on some ice cream. That's another thing. So it's not just if you're out there and you think tincture is just the alcohol, the Everclear. No, it's not. Like there's like honey based, just delicious kind of stuff that you can find online as well. That would be great for desserts and things to drizzle as you please. Just don't put them on your significant other. That might go bad.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to be burning in the wrong ways. I mean,
Yeah, but there's that's the beautiful thing about like with tinctures, with peppers and all that. It's like yes, okay, so here's my thing cuz I'm on this health kick. Healthy food, single ingredient, all the stuff that they're the dash diet, everything that people are just like it all kind of tastes what it tastes like. It's not that great. The best tasting foods, for the most part, are the stuff that are loaded with chemicals and the problems and everything I'm getting lectured about. No, you should really try like whatever tastes like cardboard because it's super yummy. It's not. Peppers, hot sauces, tinctures, those kind of things have helped majorly to spice up and make these healthy foods palatable. So if you're concerned about taking a health journey, especially for people who get older, care about your health, care about what you eat, care about what goes into your body. But if you're worried about it, food's gonna suck, no, we have so many things available at our disposal to make life a little less terrible with health benefits on the side from what we get with this wonderful thing we call a pepper.
yep. No, absolutely. And I mean, everyone's journey is going to be a bit different, but
Mm-hmm.
being able to find a way to really let that work for you instead of work against you is going to be key to it all. So,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
very,
no
very
doubt.
well said.
Yeah, because for me, for example, if you know me, you know my channel. I have like texture issues, especially with fruits. Like I just gag. So I'm not the biggest pod person, but I love my hot sauces. Um, and I love spicy. I can do heat. I just can't do pods. They make me gag. I almost threw up on Johnny Scoville's feet in Erie, Pennsylvania during a competition because the texture finally got to me of some pods that I was eating. It probably didn't help I was on no prep. That's another story for another day. But like yeah, I the texture finally got to me and I was like gagged and I like he's standing like right in front of the table here and wearing his little, if you've seen him, he wears those little foot shoe things with the toes. And
Yep.
I was like, "Bleh," and it was like inches away from throwing up all over Johnny Scoville's feet because the texture of pods I don't always agree with, but I love heat, love pepper flavors. And so, yeah, you guys out there, you're hearing the benefits of peppers. Maybe you're like me, a weirdo. You can't do the texture of fruits, and because peppers are a fruit. And that's the other thing. A side thing, if like you should eat your fruits and vegetables, just look somebody in the eye like I do, and then hold up a pepper, and they're like, now what?
There we go. No, I
Yep.
mean, I can definitely agree with that, and I might be the wrong the wrong avenue of talking about no prep, because that is like
Yeah, yeah,
my wheelhouse
yeah, yeah.
of love and
I wish.
passion. But the yes, the texture thing is 100% real. That
Yep.
part got me towards the end. That was the thing that got to me. It wasn't the I didn't realize the texture was starting to become a problem until it was like that speed round, and it was like
Mm,
shoving them down. And as I'm chewing, some are more
yeah,
chewed than others, and some are more crunchy, more
yeah,
firm,
yeah,
and so then it was just this like cascade of not knowing what was ready to be, swallowed at that point and
Oh
what
yeah,
needed to be
yeah,
continued to be chewed. And then the thought in my head started popping in of like, this is not how I want to go out. I don't want to die right here choking on peppers in front of
yeah,
everyone. So,
yeah, yeah.
no,
Yep.
that is 100% a real thing. Definitely in these pod competitions, that
Good to hear.
texture
Good to
just,
hear.
whew, man,
Yeah.
that'll get you if you're definitely for pushing yourself like on a speed. That
Hmm.
got me. So,
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one because sometimes like I I famously suck with pods, and I sometimes like I feel insecure. Like okay, I can eat 5 tubes of Terra 2.0, no problem. I eat one pepper, I'm gonna blow chunks. Like when I'm watching other people do their competitions, I'm like I can't do that at all. It's like I get insecure, but uh, to that point though, for people that there's always an alternative to find a way to get your right amount of capsaicin in your vitamins and everything like that. So find what works for you, find what you like. Certain sauce flavors I'm not big on, certain sauce flavors I am. I discovered like in general I don't like pineapple. Pineapple hot sauces work. I don't know
yep,
why, they just do. I like them. So sweet, no, that's another thing. Villain Sauce Company with their they have a sweet potato sauce, the Midas Touch. I hate sweet potatoes. I think they should be launched into the surface of the sun or buried at the bottom of the ocean. I don't care which. They have a sweet potato sauce, the Midas Touch, that is chef's kiss. I would like make out with said chef, like hardcore, because that is an awesome sauce. And that's also a play on awesome sauce. Anyways,
yep. No,
I get excited about like certain
I
it's
completely
weird
get it.
like how you challenge yourself and see things differently and discover more in this world. So
Yeah, no, definitely. And with taste buds always changing over the
yeah,
years, it's always good to revisit some of those things that maybe you didn't like when you were younger because you might enjoy them now.
yeah, yeah.
Not saying
Oh
that
yeah,
changes for everything, but there there are those times.
yeah.
There's been a few
And
things that
it's also go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say there's been a few things for me that were like that.
Yeah. I know like if I've taken a break from or if I've gotten burnt out from doing spicy all the time, sometimes I'll stop for a long time or maybe I've just gotten away from doing certain sauces. Ghost pepper sauce, Melinda's for example, is like my first love. And then I'll go back to something simple. Like if I'm doing like a whole bunch of tolerance building, a whole bunch of challenges, a whole bunch of whatever, and I'm not just simply enjoying food. If I have some like chicken with ghost pepper sauce, I'm like, I remember why I fell in love with this. Because it's that perfect, like it's like almost like a comfort food,
Yep.
you know? So like the other thing is certain hot sauces, flavors, tastes, whatever it is for you that you fell in love with spicy, doing just those simple things will make you fall in love with it all over again. And again, that also goes to like that positive mental health because I'm now thinking of all the nice happy things,
Yep.
instead of I'm now just struggling to get through this tincture so I can build my tolerance. And I was like, I remember why I like spicy. This ghost pepper on some like whatever this is, it feels good. And it feels good to relax because we're all tense, right? We got too much stress, too much cortisol. So you want the happy chemicals. You want to go back to first loves and enjoying food and enjoying life through the beauty that is the pepper.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very well said. Well, Sundance, I think for today's conversation around everything health related wise for
Yeah.
peppers, I think that gives everyone a nice chunk of knowledge of how they can use it, the
Yeah.
benefits from it, and kind of at least get the wheels turning and churning. And hey, if y'all have any further questions or if you want us to dive deeper into a specific topic,
Yeah.
around the health benefits of peppers or how they work for you, definitely let me know down in the comments and we'll
Mhm.
get that teed up for a future episode. But man, Sundance, thanks so much for being here. And I guess once again, we'll go ahead and plug away. Anything you want to let them know? Obviously, you have your YouTube channel that you have content dropping out on a pretty consistent basis. So,
Yep. Yeah. The YouTube channel at Sundance 270. I do have a secondary channel if you're into want to hearing me rant about other things. It's Live Laugh Lobotomy, and it's at Fun Dance 270. Check out my Instagram page, which is also Sundance 270. and look forward to more reviews and everything coming along. I've slowed down on challenges because Haley, God bless her, she tried to kill me, and I think she finally did it. She took Brandon. You never got to do the health heart, did you?
Nope.
Oh
I've
my
only heard
goodness.
about it.
Okay. God bless. So she had like one final batch of health heart filling, and she kept it because she shut down hard bitten, but she kept it. For somebody like me, and she sent me this surprise gift in the mail, and it was 5 chocolate skulls filled with the health heart filling, and I did the one skull. And this is after like a couple of weeks. My tolerance is down. I'm watching my health. I'm not doing anything crazy, and it ruined me. Like I even though a lot of things came up, not enough of it did. I was cramping for like 4 hours, 5 hours of one skull because she is that devious. So don't expect a whole bunch of like crazy challenges out on my channel. Blame Haley, but I am doing my reviews. I am doing just kind of those things, and hopefully you enjoy it. And we'll try to get back to. I'd like to get into some like lower level challenges now, just kind of ease back and keep it low. Because again, I am trying to watch my health. I'm 39. Had to go to the ER the other day. Thought it could be something worse than it was, but I'm glad it wasn't. Just some high blood pressure I need to work on because of stress. And yeah, so stay tuned. And thank you, Brandon, for having me. I was in the middle of like lunch doing nothing today. I'm like, all right. So this was fun. This was fun to do.
Sundance, thank you so much for coming on and discussing really the health benefits behind peppers, hot sauce, powders. They aren't just about adding heat to your food, they are powerhouses for nutrition, flavor, and versatility. Whether you're looking to boost up your health or level up your cooking game, peppers have you covered. So, what's your favorite way to use peppers? And are you team fresh peppers? Are you team hot sauce? Do you like pepper powder? Do you like tincture? Let me know down below in the comments or shoot me a message on social media. Would love to hear from you. Don't forget, new episodes drop every Tuesday and Thursday night. I could not do this without y'all, Swear Nation, so continue to share this out with other like-minded chili heads. And I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. We have podvision.io, or if you are looking to grow your brand, start your brand, you've hit a bump in the road, and you're trying to figure things out, highly recommend checking out podvision.io for all your needs, as well as webdx.one. If you have an online business, you have an online presence where you have a website, but maybe that website's out of date. Maybe you had somebody, but you've kind of lost contact. It's not a good representation of you and what you have going on. Highly recommend checking out webdx.one. I'm Brandon Swear, and from everything from the world of hot, this has been The Swear Word.